Everybody, this is Lewis, Claire Church, Muse Talks.
I like your hand gesture that no one can see. He's like,
Yeah, there
Claire
we go.
Church.
And these were started to kind of let everybody know what other musicians were doing during this time of quarantine, and also an opportunity for you to help out these musicians monetarily, because obviously we've lost all our gigs and not sure when things will come back. So we'll have some links where you can donate some money, $5, $10, $1,000, whatever works for you. Would be very beneficial. So, Claire, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean, just to be clear about that, many musicians have lost all of their income, all of it. So some people teach a little bit, some people teach a lot, but some musicians earn all of their money before this playing gigs, and now they're making $0. So that I wanted to. Oh yeah, we have this fancy sign here, and you can see that if you want to donate while you're watching this, that's two ways to do it. Okay, so I'll stop talking now.
And tonight, our esteemed guest is Bill Kopper, wonderful guitarist, and we've played gigs with him many times, but don't know you like that well, Bill, as far as like where you came from, and we're hoping to find a little bit more about that. But would you play a little bit for us first?
Sure, you want to start that way? Okay. Yeah, so maybe I'll start with Desafinado.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was beautiful, man.
So that
Well, thank
makes
you.
that makes me want to ask, did you study some classical guitar?
No, I actually took a lesson. My first lesson I took about a year and a half ago from a guy named Alessandro Panesi, from a great Brazilian guitar player. But no, where I grew up, there was nothing. There was the radio.
Yeah.
So this was in Northwest Illinois.
Wait,
And
where-
yeah,
what town?
the town was called Hanover.
Well,
And the nearest town anybody would know maybe is Galena.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We're from Illinois, so
Oh, where?
well, I grew up on the border between Geneva and Batavia, literally, and went to school in Geneva, and Pete grew up in Aurora.
Big city.
There you go. That's where the Mike Myers thing, Wayne's World,
Yes.
took place in Aurora. Yes.
Famous for.
My very first gig was with the Rockford Symphony, sort of up that way when I was in college. And also I remember going to Galena. God, why did we go to Galena? I think it was on the way for like a jazz band tour in college that we went through Galena for the first time. So
But it's beautiful there, that area.
Yes, it is. It is kind of oddly beautiful. It's unlike the rest of the state. I mean, the rest of the state's pretty flat, and there you get these hills and woods, and
Mhm.
yeah.
it's kind of got a Native American vibe. And there's the river, the Mississippi River's right there.
A little ski area out there.
I literally 2 miles. I grew up from there,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I would ski there all the time.
The name-
I grew up on a farm, so we were 6 miles away from Hanover, which had like maybe 1,000 people in it.
Wow.
that is it.
Yes.
So what did you guys farm? What did you farm?
Beef cows mostly. We had a couple hundred of those, and corn, and all that crap. So it was like full time, just insane amount of work, just crazy.
And did
So
you have horses? Are you a horse person?
oh yeah, we had everything. We had horses, pigs, sheep, chickens, anything, you name it. It was all there.
Oh,
And so yeah, that was so much work that it kind of inspired me to think of a way that I wouldn't have to, I could do something for a living that I wouldn't have to lift or go through the woods or
Is the
shovel cow manure or anything like that. So
get up at 4 a.m.
holy God, yeah, it was insane. It was insane. I don't know how people do it.
That's super interesting. Where did you go to college? Where did you go to music school? Or did you?
No, I went to CU and I got a degree in history.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I, at that time, it was all classical, and I forget the name of the dean at the time, but old school doesn't quite sum it up. Yeah, I remember Wynton Marsalis came to give us some workshops, and this is his quote. I swear to God, this guy said, "Well, Wynton Marsalis is known for both playing jazz and serious music."
That's great.
Yeah, that also that's so antique. So yeah, there was no jazz thing really. There was a big band which I played in that had some great players. I think Ron Miles was in it. He was the year after I was. Who was in it? Mike Fitzboris was in that band. Fred Hess, the late great Fred Hess. Mark Harris. Yeah.
Who directed that band?
Terry Sawchuk. He was the trumpet guy there.
You want to hear a weird coincidence is Terry Sawchuk was my jazz theory and ear training teacher at Northern Illinois University. It was like his first year teaching or something.
Oh my God. Wow, that is weird.
Yeah.
I think he just retired here.
He
maybe
did.
last year or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so that was my only exposure to formal kind of, where someone gave me a chart, and that scared the crap out of me because I'm from the country and we didn't have, I played alto saxophone, so I knew how to read on saxophone a little bit, but for guitar and in the kind of jazz language, I knew nothing about it. So that kind of made me go home and study. And yeah, he was very tolerant of my learning, I think, as was, I just think of playing with Fred Hess at that time. It was just, oh my God, or
Or Ron.
anybody else, or Ron. Ron was in the next year I didn't play with him in the band, but yeah, and Rob, I forget the bass player's name, starts with a K. He's like the principal bassist in the Chicago Symphony.
Chicago, what the heck was his name? Well, anyway, I know exactly who you mean. He was
Yeah, great player.
a great player.
So
Yeah.
you play guitar in high school, just like jamming type of thing, or?
Yeah, a little bit. I had some, a couple friends. One was sort of a drummer, one was sort of a bass player, and I was sort of a guitar player. And my brothers played, but they went away to college and they left some stuff behind, including it was a Fender Twin, which is just, the most insanely loud thing on earth. So yeah, that got me into at least playing loud. I don't know about well, but I could be heard. I know that.
That's awesome.
Well, you've done some serious work, because I think I haven't played with you much at all. For whatever reason, I don't think we played much together when I was a sax player. And I think the first time I got to really play with you on drums was that little country thing that we didn't get to do.
Right. I think maybe we've been on the same stage in certain jam sessions and
Maybe.
and yeah, but as a drummer, no. But I know I played with you once when you were playing Barry, right?
Possibly. I either play Barry or alto most of the time.
Yeah.
Doubles.
Yeah.
But I just loved playing with you the other day on that, because you're just so, your voicings are beautiful and your time is so beautiful, and also you're just like so easy to get along with.
That's not what everybody says.
Like
That's not what everyone says. No.
I just want to dispel that rumor that Bill really hard to get along with, kind of a prima donna. Actually, really cool. It was so fun to play with you. So anyway.
Yeah.
Likewise, that was extremely fun, and that's kind of it's funny, that sort of country thing is really, I really identify with that. That's kind of what I grew up with.
I bet.
So I know the source. And I was talking to someone about that recently. It's like, well, so you're playing Brazilian music. You didn't grow up with that. It's like, well, not really, but I think samba is really a rural kind of music. I know it took place in Rio, and that's kind of where it flourished, but it's from the fields, that stuff is from the earth. So I kind of relate to it like that.
Yeah, and
That's
I think all kind of folk type music, and by folk I don't mean like folk like Woody Guthrie, but like folk like comes from the people. There's a lot of similarities all over the world. It's so interesting, when you folk music, there's certain similarities. So I think samba's taking it to another level, though.
Bill, was there a point in your life where you started playing Brazilian music? Was it like, hey, can you join our band? Or was it like something you just were interested in and started getting into? Or?
Yeah, it kind of happened at various times. Once when I was a teenager, and again on the farm, I was doing something in the barn, like cleaning out a tool shed or something like that. And there was a great NPR station from Cedar Falls, it was KUNI. And they had everything. During the day, they had a bluegrass show that was great. And around, after the news, around 6 o'clock, they had a jazz show that was just amazing. The DJ was incredible. Just the stuff I got to hear at that age, being just a kick, was amazing. And but one Saturday afternoon, they had this guy Carlos Barbosa Lima, who's one of the greatest Brazilian guitar players, and he was playing All Garoto, which was a great Brazilian composer of guitar. And so I was cleaning out the shed, and I think my dad was there. And my dad is he's not a musician, but he could tell. And we both kind of stopped, like, what the hell is this?
Oh.
And yeah, we were just like, this is just badass. And so then I guess I met Mitchell Long, the great Mitchell Long, my first year of college. He was around Colorado for a little while then. and he played a lot. He was playing a little bit of bossa nova then. And then I found my first house I lived at when I was going to CU, I found a Milton Nascimento record in the basement of this house. Oh. And Milton Nascimento is just near and dear to me, as I'm sure he has a lot of people. And then I moved to Madrid in 1990, Madrid, Spain, and there were a whole bunch of Brazilians there. And I ended up playing in a kind of Brazilian jazz group there called Samambaia.
Wow.
And then got back here and played with singer Sonia Valet, who does a lot of Brazilian stuff. She's from Spain as well. And then recently the group I'm playing with Ginga, which is a kind of Brazilian samba dance group, which is just great. I play bass in that. So.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm a bass player now. That's awesome. I feel so like employable, you know? Bass players always have gigs.
Yeah, I always tell people like, damn, when I switched instruments, I should have switched to bass.
Oh, I know. It's insane. Mark Diamond is just,
yeah.
You know, we've all gone weeks without gigs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bass players now, like I'm just thinking of Mark, he's never gone like, and so it's a drag. It's like these people who are never out of work, it's like all of a sudden they are, it's insane.
That's true.
We did an interview a couple days ago, maybe search it out.
It's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
He's boisterous and there's no way. I mean, you could take all the gigs away and you'd still, Mark Diamond, be doing something. It's just, his energy is incredible.
Great. It's
Love
great.
that guy.
So you went to Madrid. Now, was that like, I'm going to go to Madrid, or was it a gig or girlfriend or?
It was a former wife who got a job there.
Oh.
And then she got a job teaching English, so there was plenty of work doing that. So she had a contract, and then I just showed up, and so I taught English and played music mostly. At the time, and Madrid was pretty cooking. There was a lot going on musically. There still is a club there called the Café Central, and I remember I just seeing Brad Meldau there, and lots of people like who else? Some local guys, Jordi Rossi, who plays with Brad, and his brother Mario. They all have something going on there. But yeah, just a bunch of people. It's a quick shot from New York, so you'd hear a lot of that stuff there. So Madrid was happening.
Yeah. So how have you been doing during this quarantine time? Just doing a lot of practicing? Are you okay physically, mentally?
Yeah, kind of other than not making money, I kind of am getting into it. I structure my days. I get up and first thing I do is write a list of things to do. And it's, I'll write some music. I like to write fiction, just kind of stories. I'll do that. I'll read in Portuguese. I'll read in Spanish, read in English, meditate, do yoga, go for a hike, practice. It's just, I have this, when I get up, which is not early, by the way, but I pretty much have the whole day mapped out. So that's kept me,
I think that's
very sane.
Yeah.
And almost like, and all that stuff it's hard to justify that when you have a living to make, like I can't really justify spending time, studying a foreign language when I'm having to make money. And now that there's no option to make money, it's like you can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So do you speak Catalan?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's been, I moved out of there in 94. So once I was back in 2018, I did some gigs with that singer, Sonia Valet. And so it took me a couple days, but yeah, I was back. I can still do it.
Love that language. I think it's a beautiful language.
Yeah, it's insane. And it's funny. I understand everything. And then when I was first back there, they were like, people were looking at me funny, like, dude, you don't speak Spanish at all, do you? And it's like, Well, I do, but my accent really sucks right now. But after like a week, I was able to get it back. And
That's cool. When we were there, I don't know, 6 years ago or something, there was a separatist movement, right? Remember that?
Yeah, it was the independence thing in Barcelona and in Catalan.
Oh yeah,
Catalonia, and that was interesting.
That's been going on forever. It's kind of the classic situation in a lot of countries where you have, they are the industrious moneymakers, Catalan, and the rest of Spain is kind of, you get down to Andalusia and it's very chill, and it just that I think the Catalans are just like, what? We're supporting these people, aren't we? But yeah, I don't know. Barcelona is super cool to hang out in, but the real Spain is, you get to like Andalusia, Sevilla, those places. It's really got something. It's guitar players. That's the heart of the guitar, man. That's it.
We were in Sevilla a few years ago too. All that flamenco.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I feel like I'm talking too much. Do you want to hear Bill play?
Well, the reason we went there because they had doctors that specialized in dystonia, which is a condition that Clara had. It wasn't that we just went there for vacation, but we, went there. So anyway, but so where do you think we're going with all this? Maybe the quarantine that's released. Do you think there's going to be a shift in the way things are? We'll kind of go back to just back to normal, or do you see anything changing from all this?
Yes, definitely. I think I don't want to say when I think it'll wrap up, but I think it'll wrap up. I think by June, it'll be done, but everything's going to be different. And I just don't know what that'll mean. A couple things. I mean, everybody's going to be on their ass financially. That's just the way it goes. So I think there'll be some sort of social equilibrium that we haven't ever had here, more or less. That could be interesting. It could also be intense, As far as as for artists, I think, again, I mean, you look at the two previous kind of parallels to this, which were 9/11 and 2008. After each of those, the gigs didn't necessarily bounce back like they did. But this could be different. I think in this quarantine, there are a lot of people, maybe non-musicians, who are online and finding a lot of solace in what musicians are doing. Like I posted a thing the other day. I played a tune, and there was just a lot of people, I think, that, non-musicians who might not have noticed that before. And they're like, oh, that's super cool. That was something. So I think it might actually, there might be some depth that was missing before. Some, where people turn to materialism now, maybe they're going to turn more towards something more substantial, like art and something deeper than material goods.
Yeah, I kind of feel that myself. I feel like maybe we're going to get bigger audiences. People are like, I didn't realize what I was missing, to go out and hear music played by humans, and have that interaction. I'm almost thinking that if all these places can survive, that we'll have better crowds, bigger crowds, and more appreciative
once they have
crowds.
money again.
Yeah, but you remember, a lot of people out there that are still just, this life is normal, like my brother works for a bank. He's just, it's the same thing. I think it affects mostly, artists and that
laborers.
Yeah. Well, it affects 60% of the population.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, well, I think it'll eventually, it's going to hit everyone, because I mean, just the way these things go. Even, tech people, for example, what if you're into aeronautics? There are, aeronautics, that's not going anywhere. Well, there's no airplanes flying. Nobody's traveling.
Right.
The whole cruise ship industry, that's gone. Who's ever going to get it? Maybe, I don't want to say, but stuff like that. I mean, just almost anything you'd imagine is going to be affected. And, you know, when, like today's the first of the month, who is paying their bills, you know, and with what? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, you know, it'll echo. Yeah, it's very difficult to say, but I think it said, for this country, it could be a very good perspective. You know, you put that on a poor country, maybe Malawi, for instance, like, yeah, like they need to know what it's like to be without. They don't need any more of that. So that sucks in certain places. For us, we can weather it, and it just kind of concerns me, like for El Salvador, you know, these countries that are always in the struggle, you know, and it's just going to get worse. So yeah.
Well, before we leave, do you have any words you want to pass off?
You want me to play first?
Oh yeah, you want to play another tune?
I'll play another tune.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I haven't even thought of another tune to play, but maybe I'll do
And improvise, you know?
improvise. Let's see. I got one. What's another tune I do? What do I do? What's my song list? Okay, you know, I do this solo gig at this place called Dagabi, and that's a restaurant that, of course, is now just doing takeouts, but hopefully I'll be playing there again. And so I should have something from that. Yeah, this one is, if I can remember it, this is called Lujon. This is a Mancini tune. Let's see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, Bill.
Nice, man.
I did.
Beautiful
Yeah.
song.
And yeah, before we log off here, I just want to say how much I appreciate what you're doing now and how much I appreciate the Muse. And just anybody listening should know how unusual that place is. I mean, it's just anything goes performance space. You just don't find that anywhere. It's incredible. So eternally grateful for that vision you guys have there. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And not only that, the room sounds great, and the playing vibe is wonderful. It's just great to play there.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I mean, you can have all the good intention you want, but if the space doesn't feel right, it's not going to work. But that place, it's got a thing. So
to get it, better and better, and our goal is to, get more and more money for the musicians too. So it's a work in progress. But thank you so much for those nice words.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, hopefully, my prediction, okay, is June. We're going to be back in some fashion. So take that for what it's worth.
I love
Boy,
it.
that's kind of irresponsible, but I think it's going to happen. First week of June, I think we'll be good.
Yeah, I do too.
Cool.
Yeah. So everyone, hold out. You'll be cool. We'll be good. We're going to make it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna
We're gonna sign off here.
sign off. Bye.
Sign off.